Why Christmas? Well, because Jesus was able to be our sympathetic high priest. The birth of Jesus, the incarnation of the Son of God becoming man, enabled him to become the sympathetic high priest that he is. You say, what do you mean? Well, go if you will to Hebrews chapter 4. Let's turn in our Bibles to Hebrews chapter 4. I want you to see some verses. Hebrews chapter 4, beginning in verse 14. Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God. Now notice, who is our great high priest? Jesus, the Son of God. Let us hold fast our profession. For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. Again, we need to emphasize here, Jesus Christ was completely sinless. You agree? That's what we see here, yet without sin. He was tempted just like you and I are tempted on a daily basis, and yet he never caved into the temptation. He never ever committed a sin. And then the verse says, verse 16, let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Listen to me. We have a high priest that understands our weaknesses. We have a high priest who feels our hurts. We have a high priest that has experienced our temptations. Why? Because Jesus Christ was tested as we are tested, and yet he never once sinned. We have a God that understands exactly how we feel today, because that God became man for us in the incarnation of his Son, Jesus Christ. So many in our society today feel that God is a million miles away. They believe in this abstract force or this abstract being that really doesn't care about them in a personal way. And I want you to know that is not the God that we read about in the Bible. Our God is not a million miles away. He's not this abstract force, this nebulous being that does not want to relate to us and connect with us on a personal level. God really wants to have a personal, intimate, growing relationship with each one of us. And when we as Christians are faced with tough situations, or maybe we go through the storms of life or the valleys of life, notice again verse 16. Verse 16 says that we can go to God and know that he understands and he wants to give us his mercy and his grace. I don't know about you, but I need his mercy and I need his grace. Don't you? We need his sufficient grace. How can God do that? Well, because Jesus became man, and look at the verse again, was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. Isn't that great? It's all possible because of the incarnation of Jesus Christ. It's because of the birth of Jesus that we have a sympathetic high priest. You have a God that understands your hurts. You have a God who understands your weaknesses. You have a God who understands your temptations. You say, how can this great God understand what I'm going through today? Because he sent his Son, Jesus Christ, into the world to take upon himself human flesh, and he experienced it all just like we do, and yet he never ever committed one sin. That's part of the miracle of the incarnation of Jesus Christ.